Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Three Sisters, One Heart podcast. I'm Tiffany.
I'm Heather.
And I'm Shannon.
And today we are so excited to announce the birth and arrival of our little Charlotte.
I thought you were going to use the nickname.
Dun, 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 dun.
I'm trying to face her forward without waking her. Here we go.
Oh,
That's baby Charlotte.
yay.
Jada bitty.
She says hi.
That's it.
And we're gonna go all through Heather's birth story. But before we do that, we're gonna go ahead and get into our trials of the week. So, I don't have any major trial this week, just normal, everyday stuff, I guess. I really don't have any complaints, which is great because honestly, my life lately has been kind of a lot of, not complaints, but work. Right? And I feel like this week things have kind of settled in, and I know sometimes I can feel a little bit like I'm missing something, like some kind of adventure.
Like it's hard to be content.
Yeah, but I have been just so content with it just being regular old, stable, and good week. Like I have no complaints.
I don't have anything big, just more continuance of Ariana has just got this anxiety. She's having a really hard time sleeping at night. She's frustrated because she feels like she's constantly saying over and over, she's like, I'm not trying to be bad. I'm like, you're not bad. It's okay. Like, but she just doesn't know how to articulate what exactly it is that's scaring her. So we've tried all kinds of different things, you know, sound machine. She's afraid of a sound machine even. She can't articulate why, but the sound freaks her out. Like, just little things are like triggering her anxiety, and we just can't figure it out.
And now it's bedtime anxiety specifically?
It's bedtime, and it's when she's away from me.
Yeah.
She's okay at her dad's house, but if I'm away from the house and she's home, it's constant like, when are you coming home? What are you doing? Are you on your way yet? And
some little separation anxiety.
Yeah,
like.
I think it's mostly separation anxiety, but with her dad's house, thankfully, with all of her siblings and stuff, there's enough going on, I think, to distract her. She still is calling and texting me quite a bit anyway, but it doesn't seem to be as bad. So it's just, I don't know. Even school days have been hard for her. She gets in the car and she's like, I missed you so much, Mommy. And it's hard, like sweet, and like you want to be needed, but you're like, not like this though.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. Because you want to encourage her to, you know, stand on her own and figure things out, but also you're her mom and you want her to feel safe and comforted. And I understand what you're saying, like feeling like you don't know what to do. Like, what else can I do? My kid obviously is.
And we are working on getting therapy to help her get some like coping mechanisms.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But that is a whole trial in itself because it is impossible to find right now.
Yep.
So we're working on it. We're trying, but it's just been exhausting. What about you?
I'm moving in 6 days.
Yeah.
So I've got a newborn, and I have to pack an entire house and move.
Yeah.
And then unpack. And then my husband deploys at the end of the month.
Oy.
That's all of our upcoming trial of next week because we all will be helping with the moving.
Oh, and I have to clean. We have to clean as we're moving because we can't like get everything out and clean because they're moving in.
Yeah, we're
not
swapping two households.
It's not a normal move. It's a house swap. So that's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great though.
I'm real stressed.
Essentially, our parents are going to swap houses with Heather and her family because Heather, the current home that my parents live in, has plenty of room for extra babies.
Three kids.
And the house that Heather currently lives in was our grandmother's home, and my parents are okay to like live in it and build on it.
Yeah, they're gonna do some
renovations to it while they live in. So it'll be good.
And they already own that property, so that helps them. We're buying their house.
Right.
So there won't be any money exchanges after all this.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Anyhow, exciting, but it's going to be a lot of work.
I'm real stressed. Anytime this week y'all want to come over and help out, I would love it. Because I'm real stressed. Pack, and clean. Because I love my husband, but his clean is not clean. And it's giving me anxiety.
I feel that.
poor Shannon, I had to break down to her the other day.
Oh, that's okay.
Granted, she was a whole 3 days old, and I was probably a lot emotional.
Full hormones, yeah.
This is slightly unrelated, but the other day, remember whenever I came over and I was like, oh, my husband likes me so much. He always wants to be around me. Ariana sold me out and told Ben everything that I said. And like, I didn't say anything bad. I was just saying how like most wives want more time with their husbands, and I'm like, go to the gym. Get a hobby. Like, we're together all the time, constantly. It never stops. So, yeah, it was just funny. But yeah, Ariana totally sold me out. Told Ben everything.
It doesn't surprise me, though.
No, not even a little bit. But anyway, so let's get into...
Birth story?
Yes.
That happened a whole week ago.
First, let's start with we should back it up before the actual birth and talk a little bit about your last doctor's visit, you're leading up to.
Well, my last doctor's visit was on the 31st, and she checked me. I was 3 centimeters dilated. She was like, well, I'll go ahead and sweep your membranes for you. I was like, okay, cool. And from Mom and Aunt Teresa, they're like, oh, well, we went into labor within 24 hours. I was like, all right, cool. I had lots of contractions and pains all New Year's. Nothing.
We thought we were going to have a New Year's baby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We did not.
Did not. Nothing. I was like, okay, whatever. I'm just going to walk a bunch. Walked a bunch. I was like, okay, well, this isn't happening. I'll wait till my next doctor's appointment. They'll sweep my membranes again. And I had broken some nails, and I was like, all right, I'm going to go to Mom's, get my nails fixed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I did that day.
She got her nails done, so they were nice and pretty for her.
So the same day I went to Mom's to get my nails done. I actually ended up going to labor.
That's so funny. After the fact?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So you had like really nice nails when you were...
Yeah. Everybody commented. They're like, oh, your nails look great. I was like, thanks, I just got them done today.
That's so funny. I didn't realize that. That's funny.
Yeah.
So what? Tell us about how you knew that you were in labor. Because were you having some contractions, but then
I was. They weren't consistent. They weren't really painful. They were just enough to be like, that's annoying.
Those little background working contractions.
Yeah. So I went to Mom's to sort. She had some clothes she was giving away because we're all packing and getting rid of crap we don't want. Or in my case, getting more crap. And so I went over there, had the boys with me. They had their tablets. They were pretty good. And did my nails. And me and Mom were like, well, Mom was like, you're probably in labor, and it's just not enough to be, something to make you go, like, realize it. Yeah. I was like, yeah, you're probably right. I'll probably go in next week, and then they're going to say I'm in labor. So I get home, and I eat some lunch. I eat lunch. Thank God I ate lunch.
Yeah.
I went to get up and get a drink from the fridge, and all of a sudden I was like, I didn't think I had to pee.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, I don't think that's pee.
Oh, gosh.
I was like, no, I'm crazy. She probably just kicked my bladder. And so I was like, okay, I went to the bathroom. It's like, my underwear are real wet. That seems like a lot. And then I was still able to pee. And I was like, I'll just put on a pad. I'm probably fine. And so I was texting them. I was like, hey, I'm pretty sure my water broke, but I'm gonna wait a minute. And then I sat down and stood up again. I was like, nope, no, my water definitely broke. And so my husband was on duty, so he wasn't even home. He was on the ship an hour away.
Of course.
He wasn't supposed to come home that night at all. Wasn't supposed to see him till the next day. So I sent him a text. I was like, hey, pretty sure my water broke. And I knew he'd been checking his phone pretty frequently, so I wasn't too worried. And Shannon was like, okay, well, I'm going to come get you. I'll take you to base, whatever.
No, she was trying to drive herself.
I was going to drive myself because I wasn't in any pain. I didn't see the big deal. And I still only had like 2 contractions that I was like, oh, that's a little more uncomfortable.
But still, like, once your water breaks, you don't know if it's going to be like...
10 minutes, 10 hours,
And it was a good... it was a lot shorter drive than I thought it was. But still, drive. It was a good bit of a drive. A lot could have happened.
Yes. So we get to base and I was like, okay. They're like, how do you know your water broke? I was like, because when I stand up again, everything comes again. they're like, okay, well, we'll check you to make sure, see if there's any pooling. They're like, well, you definitely have some pooling. I was like, yeah, I know. It's like, I'm not crazy. I wasn't peeing myself that much. And through all this, I will say, we dropped the boys off at my mom's house.
Yeah.
They were not with us anymore. My mom took the boys for the couple days that we were in the hospital. And so they're like, okay, we'll check you again. I was still only at a 3. All the walking, all the things.
Did a lot of walking.
So much walking. I was still only at a 3. I was like, what the heck? Okay. So I got admitted because, yeah, my water definitely broke. And then after they were done checking me, when I went to the bathroom and when I got up off the bed, I realized there was meconium in my waters. Amniotic fluid? Water's fine. So I let the nurse know. They're like, okay, well, we'll just have the respiratory and pediatric team on standby just in case she doesn't come out screaming and she's a little limp. It's like, okay, that's a little terrifying.
Yeah, that's a little worrisome.
I was surprised that it wasn't a bigger deal.
Yeah, no, they were really, really laid back.
Yeah.
Downside, shift change was like an hour after we were admitted.
Yeah.
So I got a whole new bunch of doctors.
Yeah, they luckily, because of COVID right now, they only let one person in the room. And we were worried that it would have to be one person the whole time, so I would just be able to drop Heather off, and then she'd have to wait for Bobby to get there. But they did let me go in with her and trade shifts once he got there. Because I did not want her going through any of that by herself.
Yeah,
That's lonely.
So shortly after Bobby finally got there, which was, 2.5 hours later?
Yeah.
It took him a while because he had to wait for his relief before he could even leave the ship.
Yeah.
And that base to the base he was at was an hour drive away.
That was really, I understand that he's your husband, and I don't mean to I'm not talking down on him by any means, but it was so hard to leave your baby sister in the hands of somebody else. I know that he loves her, but is he gonna love her enough for all of us?
Yeah,
through
exactly.
this? It was heart-wrenching. I braided her hair, I helped her put her socks on, I did everything I could, but
until you had to go.
Until I had to go. But it was heart-wrenching to not be able to be there.
We all wanted to be there.
We weren't there for Jack, which of course you guys were in Japan.
It was a C-section anyway, so I don't know.
Right. But either way, you were so far. It wasn't so close, but so far away. It didn't feel
it could have been doable, but for this one reason, it wasn't. Yeah.
So that was hard.
Yeah.
So after Bobby got there, they're like, all right, we're going to start your Pitocin because you're really not moving along. You're not actually in labor. Your water's just broke. I was like, okay, that's fine. I'm not really feeling anything too strong to tell me I'm in labor aside from my water breaking.
Right.
So no big deal. And because technically my body started on its own, then I could use the medication. Mm-hmm. Thank God. Mm-hmm. So they started it and she's bumping it up. I was like, okay, cool, I'm good. Oh, that's a little uncomfortable. It's like, okay. And then she kept coming and bumping it up, and I was like, all right, I can still handle this. I'm good. And then she was like, okay, well, you're at a good spot. You're having contractions pretty consistently. I'm gonna not bump it up this time. I was like, cool. And then all of a sudden, they stopped coming back to back again.
Yeah.
I was like, crap. And the doctors walked in, and they're like, hey, we're gonna check you again. Still only a 3.
Yeesh.
Are you kidding me?
That killed me because I knew you were feeling so defeated. Because that was 8 o'clock at night. 8:30?
When they said I was at a 3 still, yeah.
It was, so it had been all day.
No, that was later than 8.
Yeah, it was 9.
Yeah, it was
9:30.
9:30.
So you had gone all day and it had been stuck at a 3. And at that point, I didn't think even a VBAC was even going to be possible.
Yeah, I didn't know how long they were going to let me
Right,
labor.
I thought any minute they were going to start talking, and I knew that you were getting discouraged. So, and I surely didn't
I was bouncing on the yoga ball in there. I was doing all the things. Nope,
so then,
still only a 3.
Yeah, so that was hard to. She was stuck
have to wait.
And just have to wait.
And then she was like, okay, we're gonna bump you up another time. It's like, okay, that's fine. And I was like, oh, those are getting a little more intense. And they bumped it up another time. I was like, okay, those are definitely more intense. And the nurse had walked out, and Bobby was in the bathroom. And all of a sudden, I had this really strong, intense contraction and felt almost like a pop.
Yeesh.
Mm-hmm.
And it hurt so bad, and I felt like I could hear the pop and everything. And I was like, holy crap. And then from there on out, I could not breathe through my contractions. I was like, what the hell? I was doing fine. And every time I'd feel another one coming on, I was like, fuck, can't do it.
Yeah.
And my poor nurse, she's like,
Point
just
of no
breathe through it,
return.
Mama, just breathe through it. I was like, I can't breathe.
Yeah.
And poor Bobby, he didn't know what to do. Like, you want comfort, but I did not want to be touched.
Yes,
Yeah.
I
Like,
really,
just stand there and just, I know you feel bad, but there's literally nothing you can do for me right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had another contraction. The nurse was like, okay, well, I'm going to step out real quick, do something. And I was like, okay, I'm good. And then I had like 2 more contractions back to back. And I was like, nope, can't do this anymore. I hit the button. I was like, I need that epidural now.
Yeah. I wouldn't have waited that long.
Yeah.
Just
I tried so hard.
painful. It's because your intention was to get the epidural.
Mm-hmm.
It was not.
But in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, I'm only at 3. I don't want to waste so long.
That makes sense.
I didn't want to waste so much time just being at a 3 and getting the epidural.
Well, and the epidural can slow
Yeah.
contractions. Yeah.
And so I got it, and they're like, okay. And I felt, getting that didn't hurt, although I felt like it took forever
Oh yeah, of course.
for them to actually do it.
Mm-hmm.
And all this whole time, I'm like sitting there, back up, curled over, just contraction after contraction. I'm like, can you just do this, please?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even care about the whole needle in my back thing. I just wanted the pain to stop.
Get it in there.
Yeah. So they put it in. They lay me back, and I'm like, it still really hurts. She goes, hey, you got that button. You can press it every 15 minutes to give yourself an extra dose. And I was like, let me do that. And so she's like, okay, cool. Well, we got to put a catheter in since now you can't get up out of bed. I was like, okay, that's fine. And so she tried. She goes, let me go get a smaller tube. I was like, that's right. I need a smaller tube. Thinking to myself in between contractions. She's like, really having trouble. Do you mind if I check you again? This is less than an hour of being checked before.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, well, you're at a 6 now.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, well, that explains why everything intensified. And I explained to her
That
how I
explains
felt
it.
that pop. She was, oh, yeah, that's probably a baby just getting into the birth canal. I was like, I could feel it. She was like, yeah, it happens. I was like, okay. And so.
And we
she was
didn't
like,
get that update.
Yeah, no, sorry. My husband's not very good at updating. And
That's okay.
I was
You
having
did a good
really
job.
bad contractions, so I was not touching my phone.
No.
Yeah.
And so even through this, like, she's giving me the catheter, I can still feel the contraction. I'm still in pain. So I hit it again. It kind of took a little more off, but I could still feel, and was still in pain. I was like, I don't want to feel anything. And so she finally got the catheter in, and literally just as she finishes getting the catheter in, they walk in to put the monitor on her head because they're having little issues with the monitor on my belly. I was like, okay, fine, whatever, I don't care. And the doctor's like, hey, when's the last time you checked her? The nurse was like, 20 minutes ago. He's like, okay, I'm not a really big fan of checking again, but I do need to put the monitor on her, so we'll go ahead and check you. Doctor checks me, looks up, he goes, there's no cervix. I was like, and it took me a second.
You're like, isn't there supposed to be one in there?
Yeah.
It took me a second to click he meant that I was at a 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So within 20 minutes, I went from a 6 to a 10.
Oof.
If that. And the nurse is like, so you ready to have a baby? I was like, I clicked the epidural again. Couldn't feel nothing at that point. That was great. And she was like, okay. Well, the doctor was like, all right, well, we're going to set you up for do a practice push real quick. I was like, all right. I can't feel anything, so y'all got to tell me when I can push. And so Bobby's holding one leg, the nurse is holding another, and you do your 3 sets with your 30 seconds each. And they're like, oh, she's got a full head of hair.
Gosh.
What? They're like, all right, well, stop pushing for a minute. We'll get everything, bring everything in. It's okay. They get everything, have all the stuff set up, count everything. Although I was really glad. They were very thorough with making sure they had
Everything.
X amount of all the things. And they're like, all right. Got my legs in the stirrups. Bobby's on this side, got the nurse on this side. She's like, okay. And I'm just like sitting there, I was like, can I push?
Yeah.
Because I can't feel anything. They're like, yeah, you're good. I was like, okay. I did 3 pushes and she was out.
Boom.
That was it.
Yeah.
So 3 minutes worth of pushing
That's
and
awesome.
she was out. And thank God she came out screaming. No issues. They didn't need the respiratory team. They didn't need peds, like emergencies and all that.
Could you imagine what it must be like for a baby? She's like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, no, I cannot.
And then they just gave me this tiny little baby, like right on my chest. They didn't hesitate. They gave us that hour of just us.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about that a little bit, because it's been a while since I've had babies, and some of these things that they are doing now, just standard, were surprising to me.
Yes.
Surprising to me.
Even from when I had Jack and Matt, which again was apparently in medical a long time ago, because everything's so different. They very much encourage that skin to skin immediately.
Love that.
They delay cord clamping for a minute.
Oh wow, yeah, that's great.
And then, they didn't clamp the cord until after I'd already had the placenta out and everything.
Wow.
As soon as she's out, the nurse was pulling up my top, putting her right on my chest. I didn't even care if she was gross.
Wow. Oh yeah, that's something too. You're saying they don't clean them
nope.
right away.
They wait 24 hours to give them a bath now.
Love that.
Really?
Yep.
All of that, that vernix that's on their body
is super good for her.
In you as well. So like it's like cocoa butters for your skin, but like intense
cocoa butter on steroids.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So they instantly put her on me. They're drying her off, getting her stimulated. She's crying. The first thing I think of, she looks just like me as a baby.
Yes. Yeah, she does.
She does. She's got the dark hair and the dark eyes like her daddy. But just that nose and the face shape, I just see so much. I feel like I see so much of Matt, but Matt is so much of you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just remember the baby version of Matt. I don't remember the baby version of you.
No, I wouldn't think you would.
So far though, she's not as her face isn't as round as Matt's though. I feel like her face is more like ovular, like Jack's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Maybe it's just from this angle that I can see her from here right now.
So what was actual time and date?
12:33 a.m. on January 4th.
Yeah, almost on the 3rd.
I just realized, I don't know what, Jack and her birthdays are literally a month apart.
Oh,
and it just dawned on me.
Oh, I bet he loves that too. You'll have to tell him later.
Yeah.
Tell us about that. So tell us about like going home and
Jack was absolutely thrilled and crazy in love with her already.
Yeah.
Matt doesn't really. He's just like, oh yeah, I got a sister, okay.
Yeah, so far it doesn't affect
I think it's
him.
because she's so tiny that he's more scared than anything.
Yeah.
Because he'll look at her and he'll be like, all right, well that's my sister too. I know it is.
Like he's
Sorry.
still he's like protective, but he's still
disinterested. Now, what about like when she cries and stuff? How have they been? Does it freak them out or nothing?
Doesn't faze them.
They don't even notice.
Well, Matthew doesn't notice, but Jack's like, oh, she's crying, Mommy. Oh, she moved, Mommy. Oh, look at her little fingers and her little. Oh my gosh, her toes are so cute.
Aww.
They were in the car the other day, and Jack was like, oh, Matt, look at her tiny little toes. And Matt started giggling. He was like, they're so cute. I was like, oh, that's the most interest he's shown in her.
Aww, that's really cute. Now tell us about Dad, because I know he doesn't have really much experience with babies.
No, not at all. He's changed one diaper.
Oh, I mean, I'm impressed.
That's more on me because I just do. And I had to take over that diaper.
Careful though, you're gonna end up resenting.
Well, not yet. It's too
You're
soon.
setting standards.
He leaves
soon. Yeah, true.
So I'm gonna have to do it all the way.
To be fair, he's gonna miss the diapers.
Well,
not all.
Not all of them.
Yeah. So it is kind of fortunate that she came when she did, because he's got extra time with her.
Yeah.
And how has he been? Like, was he afraid to hold her? Because he's quite a large man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not. I don't think he's afraid, but I think he's nervous that he's gonna hurt her.
Yeah. And
he's very tense with her. I'm like, you gotta relax. It's okay. And I'm like, walked out of the bathroom and she was crying. I took a shower for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And he's just like sitting there. I was like, why don't you change the position you're holding her or walk
he's
around?
Like, I don't know
Yeah.
She's crying.
Like, oh, what? I was like, change how you're holding her. Like move positions or just walk around. Sure enough, she went to sleep once he started walking around.
Bounce a little. Yeah. Aww.
I was like, you'll figure it out.
Well,
but he looks, because he's so big, he looks so awkward and he's not relaxed.
He looks tense.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's very already possessive though. Like I went over to meet the baby and like most people would be like, oh, here you go, here's the baby, and he's like 20 minutes later he's like, okay, you can have her now.
Yeah, I was like, Can she hold her? Oh. Yeah.
Does he do the thing where like when they're crying or they start to like freak out, then they're like, oh, here you go? Like, does he do that, or he just tries?
He tries. Aww. I give him that. He definitely tries.
That's
he told me, take your time in the shower, just relax. I hear my newborn crying. I'm not gonna be able to relax.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just gonna scrub real quick and get out. I'm good. I'm not gonna wash my hair. Sorry, I look like a mess. I was trying to look cute. It didn't work.
She literally popped the baby out a week ago. Like
barely just a week. Now, tell us, how have things? You are breastfeeding.
Yes.
How have things been going with that so far?
She's good at nursing. I'm just tired because she does it a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So much, and I don't remember my boys pooping as much as she does.
Yeah.
And I swear, it's every time she nurses, she poops. So it's like 10 to 12 diapers a day.
That's good though.
It's very good. Especially because she's got she doesn't have jaundice. She passed the test and everything, but she's got a little tinge of yellow, which is pretty normal. But her going so often is a really good sign.
Yeah, you don't want to deal with
But when I'm changing 8 diapers in the middle of the night, staring at my husband and his useless nipples.
And how have the boys been with the nursing? It's new to them, I imagine.
Matt doesn't really meh. He's come over and look, and he's like, all right, whatever. And Jack's like, do you need help? Does it hurt when you squeeze it that way? Does it feel? I'm like, no, it doesn't hurt. I don't need help.
That's awesome.
You need to milk her, Mom? No, I don't need to milk her.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. I was like, no, I need to feed her.
So cute.
He's insanely cute, but man, I just wish he would, a little less attitude in that one.
Yeah. Well, maybe this will help.
Yeah.
It's still early. Time will tell.
Yeah, we can hope.
Now, how have you been feeling with being back home and adjusting? This is your 3rd birth, so are there any differences that you've noted that, say from your 1st birth where you didn't come home to another child to take care of versus now coming back home to your family and moving?
I'm real thankful to having a helpful husband.
All right. Well,
because
he's been helpful then.
Bless his heart, he now sees what I deal with in the mornings with Jack.
Yeah.
Which isn't fun. Jack is very ornery in the mornings.
Not a morning person.
No. And yesterday,
we
Friday
saw that
morning.
this week.
Yep. Friday morning.
That could have been a trial right there this week.
I never asked, how was he in the mornings for y'all?
He was fine for me.
I'm supposed to be the favorite, and he decided to act up and act a fool with me.
I make you look a fool.
I'm sorry.
Either way, long story short, I tried to take him to school. Heather had to take the baby to an appointment. And he goes to get, he's like, I'm sick. And I'm like, you're not sick. You've been fine.
Get out of the car.
So we get up to the line or whatever, and he's like, I was like, all right, go have a good day. And he's like, no. I was like, what do you mean no? Get out.
I was so mad.
Like, go.
Holy crap, I was so mad.
Like, get out. And he's like, no. And it's like, so I have to keep pulling through.
Right, because they make you
the whole way trying to convince him to get out. And then I park, and I'm like, he's like, I can't go in class. And I'm like, why? He's like, I'm sick. Spoiler alert, wasn't sick.
Not at all. Not even a little.
So I was like, I've got a meeting. Like, get back in the car. You're going to have a hell of a day. And as soon as we got back to the house, he was pissed that he had to just sit in the bed and do nothing. I'm like, if you're sick, you sit in the bed.
Or get your rest.
He's like, well, aren't you going to turn the TV on? No. Go to sleep. You're sick.
Oh, bless him. He thought you were going to go for cartoons and bring him juice and the whole night.
No.
So I might not be the favorite anymore.
It's very passing, fleeting.
I was so mad.
I think it's just a bubble of emotion.
Yes.
That he doesn't quite know how to sort out, and it was an attention.
Yeah.
Something to get some extra attention.
Stuff was going on.
Even if he didn't have the thought process or to be like
recognize it.
Yeah. I think that's
agree.
really, it was just manifesting in that way.
There's a lot going on, and maybe he did have a little bit upset tummy for a minute. He could have been worked up.
Yeah, but he was fine.
He was fine.
And as soon as Heather got there, he's like, "Oh, it doesn't hurt anymore." And I was like, "Oh, convenient." But either way, we're still gonna hang out in bed all day just in case.
I was like, "No, you don't feel good. You get to just chill today." He wasn't happy.
Well, let me steal her from you, and then you can open your little gift. It's not anything crazy, but we did get you a little something. Hi, Plumpkin.
You know, I was getting us something.
Excuse my wrapping skills.
It's paper.
Oh, I love the rainbows.
I know.
Sorry, guys.
I saw those and I thought of the little rainbow outfit she had the other day.
I almost put her in one today.
I love that rainbow outfit. Oh, those are so cute. They look. You can't really see, but they're the ones that look like they have little shoes on, but they're just the socks. Love those.
I used to love those for Aubriana. Don't drop that.
Oh yeah. More of the little taggies.
I just saw them and I thought they were cute.
Yes,
and I couldn't
they
stop.
are really cute. I see that.
Oh my goodness! One for each vehicle.
Yeah.
I only have 2.
Well, and then one for
And then
everyone
home.
else.
Yep.
And then that's for you. That's not for baby.
Okay, wine glass.
It is. You guess.
I'm only drinking like this to make up for when I was pregnant. Did mommy make that or did you buy it?
We bought it.
We saw it and we're like, we have to get this for her. It's too cute.
Very cute.
Now, I
you,
didn't
guys.
even turn to these extra things. We'll have to bring over a bottle of wine and we'll cheers.
Give me a bit on the wine now.
Well, when you get, obviously, when you get to the point where you can have a nip. Is it a nip if it's wine? I think that's like only if it's, I don't know, like liquor.
Never
A
heard
nip
that
or
saying.
something.
I don't know any.
Really?
I've never heard of
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm showing my age.
that. All right. Well, let's jump to triumphs.
All right, triumphs this week.
I birthed the whole baby.
Oh, cool
Wow.
ass baby.
And I didn't tear.
Yes.
Didn't do nothing. Have no stitches.
Yes.
That is.
I'm
a
sorry. I
triumph.
have abrasions.
I mean,
I have a scratch.
you gotta have some
I have a
abrasions.
scratch basically, and the doctor's like, "No, you're good. You don't need any stitches." I was like, "Sweet."
That's awesome.
It is sweet.
Mine, it's kind of a continuation from last week, but I did a med change recently, and I what is it? I forget the actual terminology, but like you have to come off of one med and up on another.
Oh,
And I'm almost through that chaotic period of coming off of one, and I feel like it went really well. So I just feel good and
And your other
optimistic
ones also
about
liking. You're
Yes.
liking. The
So far, everything I feel good.
It's so.
So
good.
I'm hoping it'll just continue to get better. I'm just feeling overall optimistic about my mental health in general. So yeah.
Heck yeah, that's
It's
I mean,
huge.
your mental health is so important. I'll say for me this week, I talked a couple of times on past episodes that my husband and I were going through a little bit of a growing pains, rough patch kind of thing, and we have been into counseling together. And this past week, we went into counseling and we had nothing to really be counseled on. Like no big
Nice.
thing had happened. There was nothing to like try to work out,
Like
and
no fresh wounds.
no fresh wounds. And it wasn't just because like nothing had happened. It was because I feel like we have been, I mean, I feel like counseling is just like a refresher and how to be a good person to your partner, because you start to like take them for granted.
Yeah.
And you start to really project all of your feelings upon them because they feel like just an extension of yourself in some ways. So we've been really communicating well, and I'm glad for it. I'm glad it has been a lot. You know, I feel you with this whole trying to get any kind of, first off, if you can afford mental health in our country right now, that says something. I have really good insurance, and it still costs $20-$30 for an hour Zoom meeting visit.
Yeah.
And I do know that it's a privilege that I can even,
Which is really freaking
get
sad.
that I can even get that. But just to add into all of that, with it being a pandemic right now, and people are in more crisis and are going through a lot more, stuff with their mental health, a lot more triggers and things. It has been so hard to get appointments because they're so far out. So
as awful as that is, it's almost refreshing. Like, I'm glad at least people are reaching out and not just.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think about that too. Yeah, like at least people are reaching out, and there are some companies that are trying to do good for their employees and stuff. Like, I'm not trying to say like the health system is a mess, but like there's just such a need for it right now, and I wish that there was more out there for people. But I'm thankful for what is available to us, and I guess that's it. Kudos, a cheers to our mental health. I don't have anything. Cheers.
Cheers. Well, yay. Well, that is Charlotte Rayne. Did I say it right? Rayne?
Yeah. Rayne.
I don't know why I was second guessing myself.
It's the way it's spelled.
Yeah, so that's Charlotte Rayne, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.